Hi, this is Stefan Grafsting. I'm here to share an insight from a client coaching call today. The client was sharing with me around having not followed through on something at work that they had committed to, and their statement was, well, I just didn't give it enough priority of importance. And as we dove into that more deeply, it was confusing to me because what it sounded like they were saying is, I didn't get this done, but I want to say it in a way that sounds like I'm really busy and I did my best, when really it seemed like they were covering up something else underneath. And what we dove into is that that person was having feelings of inadequacy or failure to follow through or just embarrassment around not having kept his word. And as we dove into the layers around it, what he found is that there's a lot of anxiety around being judged, a lot of anxiety around being made wrong, a lot of anxiety around being called inadequate or unintelligent. So he would put on an air of trying to appear very much put together and professional, but there was a layer of inauthenticity in his communication. And as we're working with his developing leadership in the startup company that he's working in, what we were exploring specifically was how to be direct and honest and own one's mistakes, own one's failures, and just be able to reveal it. And what, as we started to dive in more deeply, what was coming up for him is it's scary to be vulnerable. It's scary to say things that could be judged by other people. And as we dove in deeper underneath that, it was because he had feelings underneath of other private things that he doesn't really want to get into with other people, that he really keeps secret to himself. And he just didn't really want to start to become vulnerable and reveal anything that has feelings or anything that feels sensitive or private, because there's these other sensitive private things that he's holding private and secret and hidden from the world. But what he also spoke to was he realized that speaking his feelings and just getting the words out reduced the anxiety that he was running in the beginning of the conversation around how to show up and say, you know what, I just didn't follow through. I have too many things on my plate. I overcommitted. I understand that I don't want to do that anymore, and I want to check in on the impact. Instead, he hid his feelings of anxiety, and it just built and built and built. So the teaching here is there's like a pressure release valve that we can access when we begin to just share what's on our mind, what's on our feelings. Now, we might not want to do that with our coworkers or our partner or someone who we have a sensitive relationship with. We might need to do it with a friend, a therapist, a coach, a confidant, a parent, someone who can really just hold space while we share what's on our heart. And that is valuable to him, while at the same time, he felt challenged by going too far into certain things that are hidden. And so there's another concept I want to share, which is around the idea that perfect vulnerability is the perfect protection. We all have things that we're hiding. We all have things that we failed to do well. We all have insecurities. Everyone's trying to put on a face of perfection and how successful they are, when the reality is we're all underneath human. So when we learn to accept that we can just let go of the need to protect ourselves and be fully vulnerable and express all of the things that we think would be judged or hidden, not necessarily to everyone, but in some relationship in our life, and just be able to say, yeah, I've made mistakes and this is what they are. There's a liberation that comes with that. So I encourage you all to consider, what is it that you're hiding from the world, and who could you share these things with to get them off of your chest and create more space for you to be free and liberated and just be who you are and accept that you're human just like everyone else, and not have to be hiding. And at the same time can open that pressure release valve of letting out a little bit of the emotional pressure that builds as we try and put on the face of perfection. I'd love to hear your comments or any questions about this. This is an area that I love speaking about, so please share anything or reach out to me directly, and look forward to hearing from you soon.